Isn't it crazy that anxiety can get so intense that it immobilizes you? And not to mention the physical pain due to IBS can also be immobilizing as well. I mean, it's like anxiety and IBS are pretty much like a married couple. You know, it's hard to have one without the other. What's good, peeps? It's your boy Hess bringing you another dosage of positive vibes. What's up, tribe? So today we're going to talk about IBS and anxiety. But before we go on to the video, I want to welcome everybody back to my channel. And for those of you who are new here, welcome to the Positive Vibes Tribe. On this channel, I and many other tribe members here share what it's like living with this horrible, debilitating, invisible illness, also known as irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS. I also make it a point to share positivity because, well, one, this world could use more of it, and two, practicing positivity actually helps me manage my mental health and my IBS symptoms. So when I turn on that record button to share a message with the tribe and the rest of the public, I try my best to take the opportunity to spread positivity along with that message as well. And another great thing about this channel is that over time, as we have grown and continue to grow, we have created a community of supporters, also known as the Positive Vibes Tribe. So if you haven't already, and you want to be a part of a community of people who genuinely support one another and inject positivity into each other, then please hit that subscribe button. And if you like what I'm doing here, then also hit that like button as well. By you subscribing and hitting that like button allows my channel to get YouTube's attention, and therefore my channel gets to be put in an algorithm that allows me to get put in front of more people's eyes, in front of more faces. Therefore, not only my message, but our message gets across to more people around the world. So, if you want our message to get heard, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, show support to this channel, and therefore we can raise more awareness. All right? So thank you for that. And another way you can support this channel is by joining my Patreon. On my Patreon, I have created a private group chat where you have easy access to me and where we have more intimate and more vulnerable conversations without fear of judgment. All right, so if you want to join this private group chat, if you want to support this channel more, please join my Patreon. Now let's move on to the video. So like I said, in this video, we'll be talking a little bit about IBS and anxiety. Now, just so you guys are aware, I'm going to be trying something new in my videos in hopes that my videos will seem a little bit more structured and organized. So from now on, I plan on having 3 main segments in my videos. Okay, so I hope you all can understand and can appreciate these new segments I'm trying out in my videos. So with that being said, let's go on to the first segment. All right, so the first segment is IBS question of the day. And this question is from Lee Youngwon. He actually asks 2 questions. So let's get to the first question. Lee asks, I would like to know how you deal with getting anxious about meeting other people or going somewhere else and you don't know if there's a bathroom or if the bathroom is soundproof. For example, I even get anxious when I meet a not close friend because I don't know, maybe I have to fart or my stomach will make weird sounds. The second question he asks, also, if it's not too private, of course, I would like to know how to deal with IBS in relation to sex, only if you're comfortable with it. And sorry, I don't know if you already made a video about these things. Okay, so Lee's first question is basically, how do I deal with anxiety and my IBS symptoms as it pertains to going out in public and meeting new people or people I barely even know, especially when there are embarrassing symptoms to deal with? I think this is a very good question because I'm sure many of us with IBS can relate to this experience. What I'm going to do is give you tips or share tips that has helped me in terms of managing your anxiety while you are out in public and doing it in a way where you are responsible, right? Where you are putting your health first, okay? All right, tip number 1. I make sure to only make plans with people I trust and can understand my condition and won't judge me because of it. So for example, because I suffer from a severe chronic condition, there are chances or high likelihoods that when I go out in public, I may suffer from a very intense symptom. And because of that, I might end up wanting to go home sooner than later. And I don't want to hang out with people who are going to judge me or make me feel bad about that, right? I want to hang out with people who are going to understand and be sympathetic or at least empathetic to the fact that I have a chronic condition and I can only handle being outside for so long while dealing with this pain, right? So again, it's about putting me first, putting my health first, and having friends who understand that honestly eases my anxiety because I know I've created an environment for myself where I can feel comfortable with the people I'm hanging out with. Now, as it pertains to people I barely know, this brings me to my second tip. My second tip is I try to only focus on the things I can control and not the things I cannot control. So, for instance, if I was going out with people I barely knew, or hypothetically, if I was single and going out on a date with someone I barely knew, then I would make sure to communicate and make it clear that I have limitations and that I can only hang out for a window of time. Simply because when I decide to only hang out within a certain window, if I tell my friends or whoever I'm hanging out with that I'm only going to hang out from this point to this point, honestly, that really eases my anxiety because then I don't have the idea that I'm going to be hanging out for all long hours of the day or night dealing with this pain in my stomach, right? Or this pain in my head, or whatever the case is, right? So if I know I'm going to be limited with my time, I feel at ease with my anxiety because a lot of times when you plan to hang out for a short period of time, it goes by just like that, and then you're back home, living your comfortable lifestyle. Making it a point to be clear about what your limitations are and that you're only going to hang out for a certain window of time truly, at least for me, eases my anxiety. All right, so the third tip I have is making sure that I eat lightly before or during the occasion that I'm out and I don't drink alcohol or anything that is going to trigger my symptoms, right? I try to minimize any of those triggers as much as possible. Eating lightly, making sure that I'm not, going to intensify my symptoms really does put my anxiety at ease as well. Because if I could make it a point to go out and hang out with friends without feeling too physically bad, like that's a plus. That's a good sign. That's a good thing. And the last tip I have is not really a tip, but honestly, just stick to your plan. That's the final and last piece of advice I have to give you is whatever plan you decide to come up with that helps you ease your anxiety, that helps you manage your health, your mental health, your physical health, whatever it is, whatever plan you come up with in life, stick to it. Don't go astray from it, all right? Do your best to make you a priority, no matter what the situation is. By the way, Lee's second question is a very good question. However, it is a personal question, so I'm going to actually save that for my Patreon community. And if you guys want to, again, have an open discussion about IBS and sex, and you want me to be more vulnerable on that topic, I'll be happy to do that on my Patreon. All right? So if you guys want to talk more about that, go to my Patreon, join our private group chat, and we'll get to talking there. All right? Now, let's finally move on to the second part of this video, the second segment. All right, so the second segment is IBS term of the day. And the IBS term of the day is borborygmus. So according to Merriam-Webster, borborygmus is intestinal rumbling caused by moving gas. But as I did more research on the term, I learned that the rumbling sound is actually caused by both gas and fluids moving in the intestines. So in other words, borborygmus is the technical term for the sound your stomach makes during the most inconvenient and embarrassing times in your life. For example, you ever been in the middle of a class or in the middle of a business meeting, and when it gets quiet all of a sudden for one moment, your stomach decides to make the most loud and the most embarrassing gurgling sound there is. Now that's what you call borborygmus. All right, so now let's finally move on to our third segment. And our third segment is tri-member takeover. All right, and the tri-member that's going to take over is Justin. All right, Justin, let's hear what you got to say, man.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Justin. I'm from the United States. I'm suffering with IBS for probably about 3 or 4 years now. I've always had like digestive issues, but they're always pretty minor. But once I got to college is when it started to get really bad. I've been watching Positive Vibes Tribe for about a year now, and yeah, I don't know. I found his channel, because I was going to be traveling out of the country with some friends, and I was like pretty like racked up about it. So I found his video about like traveling tips and all that, and I just checked out the rest of his channel, and just kind of followed the advice to help me manage my condition or whatever. And yeah, it's been a good it's been a good like source of support and advice just for dealing with IBS overall. I mean, there's been so many times I've reached out to Hess like on Instagram, whatever, just for like advice or just just to talk to him about it. And yeah, living with IBS kind of really screws up like a lot of structure of your life or whatever. Um, Especially when it comes to like dating and it comes to like social events. Like I've flaked out on so many social events, just hanging out with friends or like going out drinking, whatever, because of like my stomach would just like flare up or anything. For the most part, my friends have been pretty cool about it, but like I don't know. I guess most people just don't understand how it is to have the condition, which kind of sucks. But um, yeah, and then another thing that's kind of really messed me up with is anxiety. I don't think I used. I feel like my anxiety kind of went side by side with like IBS. Like as my IBS got worse, like my anxiety got worse as well. Like they kind of feed off of each other, which really sucks. Um, yeah, some tips on how to manage IBS. At least for what works for me is, I mean, you probably see this everywhere, but your diet for sure. Like what you put in your body really makes a difference regarding how your IBS flares up. One thing for me is like I had to cut out alcohol, which kind of sucks. So when you're out with your friends, and you're like in your 20s or whatever, it kind of sucks not being able to drink anymore. But I mean, you kind of got to do what you got to do. Another thing that helped a lot too is just getting like just exercising every single day. Like I got really into mountain biking, and I feel like it's helped a lot. And another thing that helped, at least for me, just personally, was drinking kombucha. I mean, it might be anecdotal. I researched it. It works for some people. It works. Sometimes it doesn't work for others. But I don't know. That's something that helped for me. But yeah, that's kind of my experience with it, with IBS. And yeah, the channel has helped out a lot. Hess has always been like a good dude to reach out to about the condition. It definitely helps a lot.
Man, Justin, thank you so much for sharing what this channel means to you. Thank you for sharing your story and tips. Thank you for just being vulnerable, man, and just being yourself on here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Guys, you don't understand how much it means to me that you guys get on here and join me in sharing our story, raising awareness about what we go through. It really means a lot. Like, forget about all the nerves, all the anxiety. Like, our story matters, you know? And so, if you could just even get on the camera with all those nerves and anxiety, it's still powerful. It still means a lot. All right. So, Justin, man, thank you so much for being so brave and courageous for doing this for me. I know you're not a camera in front of the camera kind of guy. I totally get it, man. But you actually stepped out of your comfort zone and you shared with the rest of us. You shared with the tribe, and that means a lot. And that says a lot about who you are and who you can become. Again, man, thank you so much for just being so brave and courageous, man. And I can't thank you guys enough for witnessing this journey that we're on. Like, this is becoming our channel, guys. All right. So if you guys ever want to share a message, if you ever want to share advice, a piece of your story, whatever it is, please come on the camera and share. You can either share through audio or through video. All right. We want to hear your voice. All right. So again, Justin, man, thank you so much for that. Well, all right, guys, that wraps up this video. All right. So please.
And as always, don't forget to like,
share,
comment,
and subscribe. And
remember,
remember,
be
be surrounded by nothing but positive vibes.
Peace.
Peace.